on, everybody? Happy Friday. Getting this uploaded Friday morning. Hopefully, if all the editing and stuff and
I
everything
had to
goes
split
well,
that last video
Wednesday's
into
video took me
two
a long
parts.
time
So
to get
this is
ready.
part two. When I was doing the editing on it, I realized that it was going to be way too long. So this section here is dealing with the caliper. I think I mentioned it in the ending of the last video. What I did was bought a caliper off of Amazon that was pretty cheap, and we just used that to test the body fat percentage by taking some measurements. So that's what's going on in this video. Again, I didn't realize when I had recorded everything and put everything together that it was going to be quite as long as it was. And with YouTube, you know, want to try to limit the videos to a little shorter. Don't really like having the 20 and 30-minute videos. So that's what's going on in this one. So just stay tuned and we'll get into the measurements here in just a second. Appreciate y'all watching.
The tape. And then I've even got a little body caliper that I bought offline, actually bought off of Amazon several years ago. If I can find the link to it, I'll put it in the description. But honestly, I don't know because I've had it for several years. Pulled it out of a drawer and we're going to put it to use today. Show you where I come up with that 33% body fat that I had mentioned on Wednesday's video. So we're going to just get right into it. So I showed these in the very beginning. Again, this is the body fat caliper that I ordered offline. This is the chart that comes with it that shows once you get all of your measurements, you add those together, and then it's got a little scale over here that shows you based on your weight, or excuse me, based on your age and your measurements, that'll give you your body fat percentage. And there's more technical ways to do this. I know there's professional scientific ways where you can go and get in some kind of big pool and they'll measure you and do all these kind of things. This is cheap. If I remember right, again, I bought this a couple years ago, but if I remember right, it was less than $5, 10 at the absolute max. I mean, it was real cheap. You can get this off of Amazon. I'm wanting to say it may have even been like $3 or something. It was real cheap. So I'm going to set this chart to the side. Again, got my lovely helper over here. She's going to help pinch and prod and get all of these measurements. This part's a little uncomfortable, but the big key with this is because it does have a scale on it. You can see some numbers there, and it's got this right here. When you're pinching those together, you want to be sure and line those arrows up. So you've got to pinch until you get those arrows lined up. When you grab the skin, so you're going to have to put some pressure on that in order to get it, okay? So again, I'm going to set that to the side, and we're going to get into the fat body caliper. What we're going to do is we measure 4 points on the body with this, and then we add all those measurements together. So the first one we're going to do is, again, the bicep area. So right here at your thickest part in the front, you're going to want to grab and pull as much of the skin as you can. And she's going to take the caliper, and right there where you're pinching, right where you're indenting the skin, she's going to place the caliper. And she's got to squeeze pretty hard to get those arrows lined up. But once you get those arrows lined up, then you can read your measurement off of there. So it looks like mine is, squeeze a little more there, yep, right there, 1/4 of an inch in the front of the bicep. So I've got 1/4 of an inch because it's measuring, it's not measuring that appears to be more than 1/4 of an inch. It's measuring the thickness of the skin right there at the pinch. So you're not measuring everything that you pull forward. That's why it's important to get in those indentions. You're measuring the thickness of the skin in between. So again, that's why you have to pinch hard and get firm with that to line those arrows up. So right there in front of my bicep, I've got 1/4 of an inch of loose skin right there. So for this next measurement, it says in the instructions, and I thought it was kind of funny because for a big person, this is a little hard. It says at the waist, just above the protrusion of the hip bone, folds should be made in a mostly horizontal direction. My hip bone don't protrude. So I've got to dig in there and find it. For me, that's going to be about right there. So that's kind of right here where my belly folds over. So that kind of makes it easy. I'm just going to grab this fold and again, pinch pretty firm. She's going to take the calipers And again, squeeze pretty firm, get the arrows lined up, and it looks like 1¼ inches. So 1¼ inches for the waist area on the caliper. So now we've moved around to the back area. The measurement on the back, according to the chart, you want to find the shoulder blade. So that's what she's doing now. And then right to the bottom, again, she's on my right shoulder blade, so right to the bottom left corner of the shoulder blade, she's going just below the blade and pinching the skin there. And this measurement is done at a 45-degree angle. The bicep was done vertical, the waist as horizontal as possible, and this one is at a 45-degree angle, so that's got a tilt to it. She's grabbing that skin, pinching it between the caliper. All right, and the measurement for that one is 1½ inches. All right, and the final measurement that we're doing to get the body fat percentage is the tricep. Again, measure the same arm that you've done with the bicep, measure the one that you've done with the tape, and we're just gonna pull that skin in the back of the tricep just like we did in the front. On the bicep, it's a vertical pinch, so you're gonna pull that back, you're gonna pinch together, and then you're gonna measure right there in the indentions again and get a good solid measurement of your tricep area, your skin on your tricep area. And that measurement is 1½ inches. All right, guys, so we got all of those measurements. According to the chart, what you do is you take all of those measurements and you add them together, and then it gives you a scale over here that you base your body fat percentage off. And it doesn't have every single number on here. Obviously, they couldn't do that. So if your measurements fall in between two numbers, just estimate your body fat percentage in between the two numbers that they give, okay? Because that's like mine. When I add everything up together, the bicep, waist, back, and tricep, I end up with a total of 4½ inches of loose skin in the measurement areas. So again, according to this chart, if I have 4½ inches, and you probably won't be able to see the number, I'll try to take a screenshot of this and put it on there. But see, it's got 4.33 and 4.72. So I'm right in between those two numbers. So if I go over here, I am 35 years old, so I fall in this second category. So I am in between 32.9 and 34% body fat. So I'm estimating, with my 4½ inches, I'm estimating roughly 33¼ % body fat. So that's where I am at currently. Again, like I mentioned on Wednesday's video, they have computer calculators that you can punch in online, and it'll get you real close. Like with these measurements, I got 33¼ I've punched it in online and end up with like 33, and I have seen it as high as 34. And again, so that's right in between those two numbers that scale gave. So give me some feedback. Be sure and like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. That way you can see all my videos as they come out. Be sure and hit that little bell icon that gives you a notification that I've uploaded something new. That way if you're wanting to really keep up with my journey, you don't miss any of the videos. So I love you guys, and I'll see you